It's time to learn how to solve the Rubik's Cube, one of the great mysteries of the world. Or not. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that cover how to solve this. I'm going to show you the method that I use, which is the beginner's method. We are going to learn algorithms. We are going to learn all of the usual things. It's the method that I learned to solve this years and years and years and years and years and years ago. Now, I have not done cubing videos in a very long time, and I have completely gotten out of it, and now recently have come back into this sort of thing, so I have already done a tutorial on how to solve the Rubik's Cube back in 2016, and it was not a very good tutorial, and I never did one on the 4x4, which I've been needing to do, so I'm planning on doing that too. But for now, let's just get on with the 3x3 in one video rather than 3 separate videos. I'm going to try and go slow and make it easy to understand. Solving the Rubik's Cube is not easy the first time you do it, but after you solve it once, this seems counterintuitive, but after you solve it once, what you should immediately do, get some pictures of it, take a selfie or something, and then scramble it again, and solve it again, and then scramble it again, and solve it again, and do this 20 or 30 times or more until you actually get good at it to where you start to memorize not just what the algorithms are, but how it feels to do the individual algorithms. And so let me explain exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to start off with notation here. So the Rubik's Cube has 6 sides, it has 6 colors. It has 6 centerpieces that are fixed into a core in the middle of the cube. They will always be in these positions no matter how you have the cube scrambled up. There are 8 corner pieces. 4 of these corner pieces have white on them, and the other 4 corner pieces have yellow on them. There are also 12 edge pieces, 4 of which have white on them, 4 have yellow, and 4 have other colors. That may not be too useful of information to know, but whenever I refer to a center, that's what I'm talking about. If I'm referring to an edge, it's going to be one of these. And if I'm referring to a corner piece or a corner, it's going to be one of these with 3 colors. We will be solving the Rubik's Cube in layers. We'll be solving the white side, the first layer, the second layer, pieces of the third layer until it finally all comes together. But before we even do that, we need to learn the orientation of certain sides that you'll use in an algorithm. An algorithm is something that you will use to accomplish something on the cube, usually to move pieces around or get things aligned properly. An algorithm is a predetermined set of moves that you can do from end to end. Each of the 6 sides on a cube has a letter attached to it and a name. So this is the front side here. The front side, it's abbreviated as F. This is the front side. This is the right side. This is the left side. We won't need the back layer, but that's the back. And it's the reason why we don't call this top and bottom, because B for back already exists. So this is the up layer, and this is the down layer. All abbreviated F, L, R, U, and D. So this is F for front. And so if you're told to do F, that's your move, then you will make a clockwise rotation of the front F face. So that's F, and that's F again, and that's F again. If you're told to make R, if you're told R, that's R. Now why? Because if you look at the right side and you turn it clockwise, it gives that result. Every move that you do is a quarter turn clockwise, as if it were the front face. So U for up would be that. It's a little easier to see with up because you can kind of see the top face if you're holding the cube like I am. And so U goes that way. The only weird parts are L, because if this is R for right, this is L. It appears to go the wrong way, but it doesn't, because if you look at the left side and you turn it clockwise, it goes that way. Which means that right and left turn opposite directions. Up and down turn opposite directions, and we won't need to know this, but front and back also turn opposite directions. That doesn't matter, you don't need to remember that for now. If there is this little apostrophe symbol in front of the letter, that is what we call prime, and it just means instead of doing a 90-degree turn clockwise, you'll do a 90-degree turn counterclockwise. So what I just did there was F prime. Front prime, front inverse, front inverted, whatever you want to call it, you're doing the move reverse. Right inverted, an R prime, means you're going that way. Don't get too confused on this, but it does mean that an R prime and L turn the same direction. Or L prime and R turn the same direction. They're on opposite sides, so their clockwise direction is opposite. Don't get too confused with that. And definitely practice with the algorithms first before you start getting serious about solving everything, because we're going to be using algorithms in all 7 steps to solving the cube. Last bit of notation information. If you see a 2 before one of the letters, like a 2F, then that means to do a 180-degree turn of that face. So 2F would be 2 rotations of the front face. It doesn't matter which way you turn it, because turning it twice will accomplish the same goal regardless of whatever direction you use. There is an algorithm we will use that is 2U, which is 2 turns of the top layer. With all of that in mind, I think it's time to get scrambling. I'm also going to use this second cube, which kind of looks a lot more terrible because the stickers are not in great shape nowadays, and I will be using this as a demonstration just to show you where along the solving process we are. But with all of that in mind, I think it's time to get scrambling. The goal in step 1 is to create a white cross. That's all we want to do. We want to create a white cross. And we also want to match each cross piece with its center. So we have the red matching with the red, the blue matching with the blue, the orange with the orange, and the green with the green. Now, before we get too far, I actually encourage you to try this step out on your own to see if you can do that. Creating a cross isn't too hard, but matching it with its color can be a little tricky if you're not used to doing it. But I encourage you to see if you can try it yourself. And if you've tried and succeeded, well, great. But if not, then, well, resume the video when you want to see how it's done. With my fully scrambled cube, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the white side with the white center. And on the bottom layer, this is where we're going to want to look for white pieces. Here's a white piece right here, and it has orange on it. So what we're going to want to do is pair it with the orange center, and then you can just simply rotate it up to the white side. So you've got the orange matched here, and you've got the white here. Now we can look on the bottom again for more white pieces and just do the same thing. Now, in this case, I don't have any, but there is still some on the down layer here. So I can rotate it over, but you'll notice if I rotate it up into the cross, it's flipped wrong. Well, if this is the case, then there is an algorithm that you can perform to flip this. It is our first algorithm. I'm going to go slow. The algorithm you use to flip this is U prime, that's counterclockwise, R prime, U, F prime, counterclockwise turn of the front layer. And you'll see that it brings it up there and it does not disturb any of the other pieces that we had in our cross. If this happens when you're trying to get the last pieces up, and you'll notice there's no white pieces on the bottom and there's none on this down layer here, but it's lodged in between some of these other center pieces, well, we need to dislodge that and bring it onto the bottom layer. And the way we do that is by doing a different algorithm. And this algorithm is going to be the most common one that you will use to solve the cube. It is used in 3 of the 7 steps. The algorithm goes like this. Hold the piece so that you can see it right here on the right-hand side. And you go like this. R prime, D prime, goes that way, R, D. It only involves the right and down layers. Now, look on the bottom again, and there it is, and we already know that we can pair it with the green center and rotate it up. You will continue to do this for all of the pieces in the cross until yours looks like mine, either one of them. Don't worry about the corners for now, we just want this white cross on the top. The goal in step 2 is to solve the white side of the cube, as well as getting this first layer complete. The Rubik's Cube is solved in layers, and we're going to try and get this first layer where everything matches. All the colors match to their centers. To complete this white side, we need to get all 4 of the white corners facing up. The way we do that is we look on this bottom layer for any corners that have white on them. Like this one, for example. White, orange, and green. What we need to do is we need to rotate it so that the corners line up with the colors that are being shown. So white, orange, green is going to go up here to white, orange, green. The white, orange, and green centers for the white, orange, and green sides from our white, orange, and green corner. Now, how do we get this corner up here? With an algorithm that you may or may not have needed to use in the previous step. Hold the piece that you want to orient right here in your right hand, and it goes like this. R prime, D prime, R, D. Well, it brought the piece up there, but it's not flipped correctly. You will need to do this algorithm, more likely than not, multiple times to get the piece oriented correctly. So you just keep going. R prime, D prime, R, D. 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 And you'll notice in my case, after 5 attempts, the corner piece finally went up there in its correct place. Sometimes you'll have to do it once only, and you'll get lucky. Other times you have to do it 3 times. It entirely depends. Here's one where I'll be a little bit luckier. So red, white, and blue. Well, it's not in the correct spot. We need to turn it so that the blue and the red match the blue and the red here. And this time, I'll only have to do it once. R prime, D prime, R, D. So there's a luckier way of doing that. Now when you look here and you're looking at the bottom, you don't see any white corners at all. Not one white corner down here. It usually means that they're stuck on the top somewhere. We need to dislodge these. So in order to do that, we'll take this one out by using the same algorithm. R prime, D prime, R, D. That will dislodge it from the top layer, and now we can pair this normally. So it's got green and red on it, so we'll turn it over to the green and red sides. And it is going to push this corner out as well when I do that. R prime, D prime, R, D. And that solves it and kicks the other corner out of the top layer. If when you're pairing a corner like this, white, green, red, you'll notice there's another piece up here. And so we're going to do the algorithm anyways. R prime, D prime, R, D. And just keep going until it's correct. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. But wait a second, that doesn't look right. It's because it's not. That's still the other corner. We need this corner up there. So you just do it one more time, or at least one more time. R prime, D prime, R, D. You just keep doing it over and over and over again until it is the correct corner that's up on the white face. If you have done this step correctly, you should now have the entire white side complete, along with the entire first layer matching their centerpieces. If you have not completed this step, pause the video now and finish that, so that it looks like these two cubes. The goal in step 3 is to solve the second layer of the cube by getting all of the second layer edges into the correct place. To do this step, and the rest of the steps on the cube, we're going to need to turn it upside down so that the white side is on the bottom. You should see a yellow center on the top. If you are solving a really old Rubik's Cube, then this center might be blue, and all the times where I mention the color yellow, you're going to have to substitute it for the color blue. But that's only on the absolute oldest of cubes. In this step, we are going to look for an edge on the top yellow side that does not have yellow on it. So like this one has yellow on it, this one has yellow on it, this one does not. This is what we want. So we're going to take this blue-orange edge and we're going to pair it so that it matches with its center. So we have blue and blue. Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either this orange piece needs to go off to the left, which is how it is in my case, or the piece is going to need to go over to the right. This needs to go over to the left because this blue-orange piece needs to go over here, to the left. If this were the blue and red edge, then it's going to need to go to the right over here, and I'll show that shortly. There are two different algorithms. They're basically just mirrored versions of each other to get this edge down to here. And the algorithm goes like this. U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. That's a lot of moves, but it does bring the piece into the correct spot. Here's another edge. So again, you pair it so that it's the same as its center. And then you look, this red-green edge, well, we don't want it to go over here. We need it to go over here. We need this red-green edge to go to the right. The algorithm to do this one is basically the same, just mirrored sides. So it's U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. That will bring the edge to the right side. If you look and you see that on this yellow side there are all four edges over here are yellow, but this still isn't done yet, or there's an edge that's like flipped wrong, I'll show that too, then just do one of the two algorithms to put a yellow piece into here, and it'll push this piece into the top layer, and you can then orient it normally using one of the two algorithms from this step. Let me show you what I mean. You can do either the one to the right or to the left. I'm going to do the one to the right to bring this into here to push this piece out. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. Puts that piece in, and that green orange or whatever is now up here, and we can put this in normally, and it's actually going to, in this case, it'll push this one out, and I can do this one normally too. This is a similar scenario to the last one I just talked about, but if you look and there are no other edge pieces on the top, that they all have yellow on them, and you see something like this has happened, or if you do this accidentally, where it's basically entirely complete, but it's flipped wrong, Then again, you can either hold it like this and put one of the yellow pieces to the right, or you can hold it like this and put one of the yellow pieces to the left. You need to push this piece out and then put it in correctly. So this time I'm going to do the algorithm of bringing it to the left to push this piece out. And so that algorithm again is U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. It's put a yellow piece in here, and there's the edge that we kicked out. So now I can just orient this edge. Normally it looks like it's going to go to the left again. I'll do the algorithm a little bit quicker this time so that you can see what a more normal solve would look like. U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. If that was too fast, you can rewind and look, or play it in slow motion to see it slower. But just keep doing that until you have the first two layers complete, just like this one. The goal in step 4 is to get this yellow cross on the top of the cube. If your cube already has a yellow cross, ignoring all corners, then you can skip past this step. You are already a step ahead. The top of your cube will have one of 4 possibilities. You will either just have this dot, an L shape like this, a bar like this, again, ignore the corners, just a yellow bar, or it will have the cross. This is our goal. If you start out with just a yellow dot on top, then it doesn't matter what way you hold the cube as long as yellow faces up. And then you will perform this algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And this will now give you an L on the top. Again, ignore all the corners. The L is made up of these edge pieces. If you have an L on the top, you're going to want to hold it so that it's in this orientation. So you have the L, it's going to be a backwards L in the back left corner of the cube, just like how I have it. And then you'll perform the same algorithm. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And this will now give you a yellow bar on the top. When you have the bar, hold it so that it's a horizontal bar. You don't want it like that. You want it going left to right. And you'll perform the same algorithm again. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. This will give you a cross on top, a yellow cross. Sometimes you'll have other corners and things. Again, you're ignoring corners for now, and you will have now completed step number 4. The goal in step 5 is to align the third layer edges with their centers. So you'll notice that we still have the yellow cross on top, but we also have green with green, orange with orange, blue with blue, and red with red. If your cube already looks like that, then you're one step ahead and you can skip this step. There are a lot of different situations that can come up during this step, but the goal, well, of course, the ultimate goal is to get four edges all paired, but the more likely scenario is that you'll only be able to get 2 next to each other. Now, in my case, I actually have 0. Red and blue, those don't match. These don't match, these don't match, and these don't match. If that's the case for you, rotate the top layer once and now look again. This time I have 1. Just the green edges match, nothing else matches, but we want to get 2 edges, so we're going to rotate it again. And there we go. We've got the blue edges matched and the orange edges matched, and these 2 are not. However, in some rarer situations, you might find something like this happens. You have an edge paired here, and you have another one across from you. Those are the only 2 paired, and these ones are not. If this is the case for you, hold the cube so that you can see one of the correctly paired edges in front and the other one is in the back. And you're going to perform this algorithm. It's the only algorithm that has a 180-degree turn of the layer. It is this. R, U, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime. What this has done is it has now gone to what our ultimate goal should be, which is to have two edges paired up next to each other, and it leaves the other two completely unpaired. If you have the two edges side by side like this, that are paired and the other two are not, hold it so that one of the correctly paired edges is on your right and in your right hand, and the other one is in the back. So one correct edge is in your right hand and the other one is in the back. So you should be looking at one that's not complete, and then do this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime. It's the same algorithm from before. Now nothing's going to be matched up, but with one final turn of the top layer, clockwise, all of your edges will now be paired with its center. The goal in step number 6 is to get all of the yellow corners to their correct positions. For example, this yellow, green, orange corner matches with its yellow, green, and orange sides. Now these other corners are also all correct, even though they might not look like it at first. But see, yellow, blue, red is where it's supposed to be. Yellow, blue, red. All of these corners are like that. Yellow, red, green, yellow, red, green. Yellow, orange, blue, yellow, orange, blue. If your cube already looks like this, then you can skip on past this step. You're good to go. But let's take a look at mine. It's not going to be like that because you're going to notice a lot of corners are not where they're supposed to be. There are 3 possibilities at this stage. You are either going to have 0 corners in the correct place, 1 corner, or you'll have all 4, in which case you can skip the step. Now in my case, I actually have 0, because yellow, red, blue does not match with yellow, red, green. Yellow, orange, blue, yellow, orange, green. Yellow, orange, green, well, yellow, orange, blue. Yellow, red, green. Yellow, red, blue. Nothing matches. If that's the case for you, then hold the cube in any position as long as yellow faces up, and you'll perform this algorithm. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. Now look around the cube again. There should be 1 corner in the correct place somewhere. And in this case, it's this one here. Yellow, orange, blue matches with yellow, orange, blue. And none of the other corners match with their centers. Okay, so now, when you have it like this, hold the correctly solved corner that actually matches its centerpieces, yellow, orange, blue with yellow, orange, blue. Hold that in the right side like this, so that you can touch it with your thumb. With your right thumb. And so the other 3 corners should be here. Then you will perform the same algorithm. It's U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. You might have to do this algorithm twice, which looks like in my case I am going to have to do it twice. If you look and your corners are in the correct positions like they are on this cube here, well, then you're good to go. But I'm going to have to do the algorithm again. You might, like I say, you'll either have to do this once or twice. So I'll do it one more time. U, R, getting really close to solving this, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. There we go. Now we have them in the correct position. So yellow, orange, blue with yellow, orange, blue. Some of the corners became solved, and we've got yellow, red, green with yellow, red, green. The goal in step number 7 is to reorient your yellow corners so that yellow faces up. Doing this will solve the cube. There are a few different situations that might come up, but you're going to do the same thing no matter what. You are either going to have all 4 corners that need to be oriented like they are in the case you see here. You'll have 3 corners that need to be oriented, or you'll have 2 corners that need to be oriented, either next to each other or diagonally. It does not matter what situation you have. Doing the steps in the way that I'm about to show you will solve the cube every time. So what you'll want to do is hold one of the unsolved corners in your right hand. You should be able to touch it with your right thumb. And you will be performing the same algorithm that you may have had to use in step 1 and that you used for the entirety of step 2. Be mindful, it is going to look like you're going to mess up the cube here, but it will solve itself. Just trust the cube. Okay, with it like this, the algorithm is, and also make sure you're turning the cube the right way, it's R prime, D prime, R, D. Now you're going to want to keep doing that until yellow faces up. R prime, D prime, R, D. R prime, D prime, R, D. R prime, D prime, R, D. There it is. It got up there. You're either going to have to do the algorithm 2 or 4 times per piece to get it up there. Now this step is crucially important to not messing up the cube. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn the top layer only. Do not turn the whole cube. Only turn the top layer until you can see another unsolved corner piece that you can again put on your right thumb. And you're going to want to do the same thing for all the corners. R prime, D prime, R, D. 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 Again, it looks like it messes up the cube. Pay no attention to that. Rotate the top layer only, and we have another corner piece to solve. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. Okay, turn the top layer once more. This is going to be our last corner. This will solve the cube. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. And with a final flick of the top layer, you have now finished solving your very first Rubik's Cube. Congratulations on if you were able to do it. Now I have one more scenario that I'd like to actually show you for when solving these last pieces so that you don't hopefully get too confused. Let's go over a different example for the top. So this one I have 2 corners to orient, but let's focus on the first corner now. So I'm holding it where I can touch it with my right thumb here. It's right here on the front that needs to be oriented. R prime, D prime, R, D. R prime, D prime, R, D. Now, if I rotate the top layer, there's already a solved piece, but just keep rotating it until there's an unsolved piece, and then just go again. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. And it will solve the bottom layers again. And that will fully solve the cube. You're either going to have to do the algorithm 6 or 12 times to get all of the corners oriented. And watch. If you do R prime, D prime, R, D 6 times, there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It returns everything back to how you found it. That's why the cube is able to fully resolve after doing it like that. And there you go. You have now officially solved the 3x3 Rubik's Cube. Congratulations. This is definitely an achievement. Now, here's something interesting. On the V-Cube solving tutorial for the V-Cube 3, they have an entirely different method, where steps 5 through 7 are done completely differently, and so you end up solving the cube in a completely different way. I am going to read up on this again, and I would like to actually teach that method as well, because ending the cube with the most stressful step like that is probably not going to be for everybody who's scared that they're going to scramble the cube. So instead, that step is kind of in the middle, and then you just kind of do a single algorithm to switch edge pieces around with V-Cube's tutorial. So it's a little bit different, but I'd like to show you that as well. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, and if you have solved the cube, that is something to definitely be proud of for doing. This is not something that is considered easy. Now, I have been cubing since I was around age 10 or so, although I've taken several very, 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 very long breaks from it. But you never fully lose how to solve the cube. So get really good at it. You know, you have the cube like this now, but scramble it up again and solve it several times using the algorithms. Write down the algorithms, either in a note on your phone or on a piece of paper, like I did back in the day with all these algorithms. Use them to your advantage, see how the cube comes together, and when you're ready, you can watch my video on Rubik's Cube shortcuts. It's still the beginner's method, but it's the beginner's method with shortcuts. Be sure to watch that, and I will see you next time.